tonight we are holding in our prayers the co-host who cannot be here in person because he is actually in the hospital now, having his heart monitored for some unusual activities, arrhythmia going on, which made it impossible for him to actually be here and present tonight. Steve Moe, we are going to use the material that he sent in preparation to share with us tonight. And so that will not be lost on us whatsoever. But let's start out with a little breath centering. You put your attention on the base of your spine, where the ball of light, vibrant energy is. This is your life force. This is clay, as it were, that you are given to mold and into the vehicle that you share your divinity with, that is your body. And as you inhale, bring that ball of radiant light up your back to the top of your head. And as you exhale, let it come down the front of your body to the base of your spine. So you're creating that circle of light around yourself, which is your sacred temple. And you get to invite whomever you choose into that temple. And I'm going to request that you invite all of us into your sacred circle tonight as we invite you into ours, and all of the others who cannot be with us in person, but who may at this moment in the future be witnessing this recording of our welcome to them. And then, if you would breathe into the center of your circle, the inner sanctum, as it were, of your temple, and create a circle. You can imagine setting out the pillows for everyone to have a seat in your heart. And as we hold hands in that circle, connecting our breath, we ask the spirit of Steve to be in the center. And from each of our hearts, we send a radiant beam of light to Steve, sending our love and our wishes for the highest for him, whatever that is, that he may be in peace and live fully in his purpose. It sends a special vibration of caring to his physical heart. Let it know that it is loved and supported by us, his community. And affirming that throughout our time together, we are in concert with each of our community members, that the circle is unbroken and will continue to support each of us here forward. And indeed, we acknowledge we've had many circles, we've had many groups, we've had trainings, we have had other times together, both here in the therapeutic breathwork community, but also in other communities, in families. And these circles are mutually supportive. The more circles we have, the stronger our vibration is communicated and shared with all sentient beings. And each circle, just as each individual, has its special flavor, its particular nuances that give it its identity. What is that special identity of this particular circle that we brought together? As I have in the past, putting forth a couple of propositions, a couple of things that I affirm that we will look at through the course of our time together. So this evening, proposition number one is the secrets of success to a long-term fulfilling life work are no secret. Because again, the title for our meeting tonight is Building and Maintaining a Thriving Practice. So there are libraries full of, quotes, secrets to success. Each book is full of inspirational stories and tips on how to bring the best out in yourself and successfully sell it to the world. The common denominators include quotes, following your bliss, faith through the highs and lows of the journey, being loyal to your principles and being tuned into your guidance. But your success story is unique and in process of being written each day. Your mind can keep you searching for the quotes, secrets of media marketing, tricks to attracting your audience, staying abreast with the latest trends, etc. Yet your heart knows the truth of what you are here to offer and the sources to trust in helping you share your highest. Proposition number 2. The power of community is working for you 24/7. There's an old adage that, quote, it takes a community to raise a child. I believe equally as true is that it takes a breathwork community to train a breathworker. So learning from one teacher is myopic when it comes to absorbing the full breadth of what breathwork can offer to your clients and the world. That's why I'm an adamant believer and proponent that therapeutic breathwork offers a wide scope of teachings from veteran teachers, your peer group, the people you serve, and the hidden wisdom in your own consciousness. Now, this is not an occasional meeting or group to which I refer. It's a conscious community connection in which each person is tuned into each other's community member psychically, both receiving the treasures of their breakthroughs and supporting them in their times of need. It's only then we're operating at our full potential. Spirit is informing us on multiple channels 24/7 because we've signed up for unity consciousness. We're asking unity to come into our consciousness. So be ready to be amazed every day with what resources are at your disposal. As with each of the veteran teachers that have worked with me in our 5 previous meetings, we all got together and looked over what is it that we want to bring out in this particular theme. So Steve and I also shared our notes. And even though Steve can't be with us here in person, I'm going to use his notes because Steve always brought humor into all of the work that we've done together, bringing humor into teaching, the touch and movement. I think it's one of his signature strengths. So Steve, in his trickster way, decided tonight he wanted to start out with the format of an exercise. And that is complete this sentence stem. A judgment I have about myself and my business success is. A judgment I have about myself and my business success is. Now, this is not to rake yourself over the coals. This is not to browbeat or self-flagellate, but it is to be honest about what is the niggling judgments going on behind behind the scenes that can sometimes just kind of water down our enthusiasm or blunt our initiative, that I have to work harder than others in order to get people to join my groups. That's one that would come out of me. The reason we're sharing it is to get them out of the shadows where they do their dirty work and be able to breathe truth and light into them, okay? This first round is just going to be getting the judgments out there. So for 2 minutes is the sentence again. a judgment I have about myself and my business success is it's not as great as others of my peers. That would be another one coming out of me. I go on and I keep saying each time something different. And don't stop when you think you've run out of steam, because that's when it really gets juicy. When you can't think of anything clever to say or obvious, then say the sentence and see what pops out of you. Okay? For 2 minutes. Now you're keeping track of your own time here. Okay, is there anyone who found that they had absolutely no judgments about themselves and their business success? All right. So let's look at some of the ways we might dismantle some of these old beliefs about building a successful practice or business. So it wasn't a profession that drew people to breath work. It was a spirit of being with people in their core. Let's start with some definitions. The building a profession. Building does not always mean more. It has to be relevant to your life and the phase of you are in your life. Building for me, building my practice at this point is not about getting oodles more of students, but it's about creating a team of teachers. That's building for me at this stage in my life. I want to be surrounded with peers. And then maintaining a practice. How do you define maintaining? Well, continual practice and play and integrating the feedback that you get. So what might have worked last year in terms of marketing or saying what you have to offer might be different this year. What kind of feedback are you getting? Not just feedback from others, but feedback from inside of you. And then thriving. What's the definition of thriving? It's recognizing that thriving is very personal. And he gives a few definitions here. This must be a dictionary definition. Thrive, to be in harmonious vibration with one's ever-evolving life purpose. Well, you probably won't find that in the dictionary. That came from Steve. To be in harmonious vibration with one's ever-evolving life purpose. A life from which I do not need a vacation. A practice from which I do not need or choose to retire from. I guess he nailed me there. It's like, why would I want to? I mean, I can want to retire from doing as much as I thought I had to do in the past, but not to, I don't have to retire from getting the reward that I've experienced in doing my work. Back in the School of Integrative Psychology and Spiritual Psychology, it was called in the beginning, and Steve was there. We had a prayer in the first year of the school. It was called, we called it the PIP prayer, which is, I now grant myself the good feelings that I imagine I will have after going through what I think I need to in order to deserve them. What was that? Would you say that again, Jim? Okay. I now grant myself the good feelings that I imagine I will have after going through what I think I need to go through in order to deserve them. What do you mean? Don't you have to work hard and slave in order to have good feelings, feeling of reward in your life? There's a question for everyone to answer for themselves. So how can our practice and business work become one with our life, such that we don't want to have to take a vacation from it or retire from it? And Steve has two big words in capital letters: relationships. Okay. So let's look at this language of earning a living. What, what do I have to earn in order to live? Are my relationships sustaining me? Is what I imagine Steve is thinking about. So Steve says, let's create a container, a framework of practice, one that others can recognize and connect with us as a business. So I might be enjoying myself and enjoying my life, and others say, "Oh, that's great." But it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be able to join me in that. I have to offer my services. I have to put it out there in a way that others feel welcomed. Come on to a training. Oh, by the way, anyone doing anything this August 14th to 18th? The greatest party in the Midwest, maybe on the planet, I don't know. But so in other words, you have to be enthused and excited about what you're offering. And then there's all sorts of things that people do to put it out there. How do you name your business? And don't worry, the name, people have to say, well, I have to name my business first. No, first you have to feel it. First, you have to feel the joy of giving service in your life. And then the name will come from that. Not let's come up with a clever name. You got to wait until that feeling comes through you and out of you. And that's what's going to emanate from your pores. That's what's going to go out to the public. It doesn't have to be more clever than the next person or, you know. And that's an evolving process because even after you have the name, you're continuing to put juice into it, to renew it, to renovate it. My wife is one that came up with several names. She came up with Transformations Incorporated. Now, most people think, well, Transformations Inc. And I never put Transformations Inc. No, I spell it out. Transformations Incorporated. In other words, embodying transformations. That's the business. So it'll continue to take on deeper and new meaning for you as you go. And then Steve has a couple of notes here. He says, you're in business for yourself? Well, there's things that you have to do in order to participate in our society. In other words, pay taxes. Don't make that a burden. I'm ad-libbing here. It's like, don't make paying tax, oh, it's a terrible thing. I have to, taxes is what creates roads for us to drive on, creates schools for our children, creates, it's an honor to be able to contribute to our society. And you get the honor of completing a Schedule C instead of a 1099 from your employer. So what does that mean? Well, it means that you keep your receipts, things that you spend money on to support your business. And this was clever here. Steve says, your pile of receipts is the year in stories. And so much of your life can be tax deductible. If you got an office in your home and it's devoted to your work, okay, you got 8 rooms in your house, 1/8 of your heating bill is tax deductible. So there's all sorts of things you can learn about the advantage of running your own business. Steve has something here that I haven't done, but join the Chamber of Commerce. Sometimes there's discounts for having a home-based business. He says, and this is what Steve is really good at, working in a local community in northern Wisconsin. He says, buy gift cards from local businesses to use as a client appreciation or marketing. Because even as he says, even though we're in a big city, we create smaller communities within that city. So now after you build this framework for your business, it gives you freedom to evolve as an emotional, spiritual, and mystery-based operation. Oh, I like that. A mystery-based operation. Because again, if you make everything hard and cold, rational, I got so many clients because I put so much sweat and tears into making cold calls or sending out email notices or making newsletters or no, you know what? I think a lot of that stuff is to keep our mind busy while spirit makes connections for us. I mean, I send out newsletter. I am religious about sending it out and uh, putting something positive on Facebook every day, and I do all that stuff. But a lot of times, there's people who are coming to our training. I ask them how they heard about us. Oh, I just went on Google. I just, someone mentioned it. So grace is working for us. That ineffable mystery. And if you are open to it and you keep your heart and mind open to it, grace is working for you over time. Truly, a community has built this office. That doesn't mean you can't use or shouldn't use people from outside. I've got a roofer to come and heating and air conditioning people to come. Yeah. But also, when you can, do things that support the thriving of those in your community. Exchanges. Every exchange is a ceremony of giving and receiving. Cash, credit cards, checks, barter. Notice the difference in each way that you exchange. Honor the ceremony. This was a great comeuppance for me, a Westerner, when I was in Africa. If you'd go to the marketplace and you'd say, oh, how much is that scarf? And the person says such and such a figure, and you reach in your pocket and hand them the money, they would be insulted. There's no, you've got a dicker, you've got a barter, you've got a chinnicky, as they call it. Something in my DNA must have been into that, because once I got into it, I would do that and have a great time. My wife got exasperated at me once in Africa, where I was looking for a piece of cord. This was in a small village, a piece of cord to, I don't know, tie something up. And I spent 15 minutes dickering with a guy for about a foot-long piece of cord. We were having a great time. Okay. So the village shaman or midwife or hunter is not just that, but is an active community member and contributor outside of their special skill. So we as breath workers are active community members. Don't you think of yourself, that's it. I'm a breath worker. You're a member of your community. So the village breath worker is not just a breath worker, but also a contractor or a clerk or an attorney, a chef, a nurse. So there's no shame in earning income outside of being a breath worker. It allows you building connections with those unfamiliar with breath work, but familiar with you. I've had people come in before they gave birth and wanted a breathwork session. And then months later, they'd come in with their children. What a tremendous gift that was. I remember a couple that came in and they were not too sure about this marriage thing, and they did some counseling and some breathing, but they wanted to have their relationship on more full or solid ground before they took the step of marriage. Well, I just saw on Facebook last week their family, picture of their family. They're doing great. Couple of kids. You're building a legacy as a breath worker. You're giving people stuff to live with, to thrive with. So Steve says, in Turkey, we saw merchants sprinkling water on their front walk. Here it might be shoveling the snow or sweeping the walk as an energetic invitation to clients. Of course, that's a metaphor. We have a nice clean website. We have a welcoming, open, embracing attitude. We've done the inner cleaning of our own spirit. So integrate the spirits of the place that you operate. If you have an office at home, recognize and honor and integrate into your practice all of the beings that support you, seen and unseen, that are present. He has a note here around trying new language around the idea of difficult clients. What's a different way to think of the customer is always right? What is the truth that they're trying to express? Being in loving compassion and integrity, and allowing the clients to be themselves and sort themselves out. Your job as a breath worker is not to fix everyone. That's an impossible and a thankless task. Okay. We're not here to fix everyone, but we're here to give options, help people breathe easier and feel the resources and wisdom inside of them. And if we're doing that for ourselves, then we're a walking billboard for our life work. All right. Now, what does Steve want us to do? The sentence stem is, a gift my practice brings to community is. A gift my practice brings to community is. And your practice can include, it's about breath work, but it may be also about other things that you do that you combine with breath work. But it's not just breath work. It's your practice, your service. Keep that sentence going for 2 minutes. A gift my practice brings to the community is. And remember, when you can't think of anything clever, that's when it gets juicy. Say it and see what pops out. It feels like my body, my energy body, and my physical body, and my heart has really grown being in your presence. So I look forward to breathing with you all now, and a special little extra boost of energy for Steve and the work that he's doing tonight. So blessings for us all. Mwah.